I don't know how many of you are fans of BBC Radio 1, but those of you who are will know that this last weekend was their big weekend in Hackney. The big weekend in Hackney had a number of homegrown acts of varying quality before you had a single US superstar topping the bill. On that occasion, it was Rihanna. The BBC One big weekend in Hackney is being recreated here at Policy Exchange in a way, in that you have a number of homegrown acts of varying quality. Neil O'Brien, just been appointed as the Deputy Chair of the UK Government's Commission on Social Mobility, and undoubtedly the most influential think tank head in Britain today. Rachel Wolfe, who, as the founder of the New Schools Network, has been responsible for creating, acting as godmother to 24 new free schools, and we hope many more to come down the line. An inspirational thought leader, but also a doer who's transformed education on the ground. And then me, ex-chairman of Policy Exchange during the years when it was a neglected and marginalised think tank, and someone who wasn't even able to keep Rachel Wolfe as an employee because she soon tired of working for me. So you can recognise where the real power balance lies between the three of us, and it's not with me. One of the reasons why I'm so glad that we were able to persuade Michelle to come to the UK is that I had admired from afar everything that she had achieved in Washington. When she was appointed by Mayor Adrian Fenty to be the individual responsible, the superintendent in charge of DC's schools, they were the worst performing in the whole of the United States. In just 2 years, Michelle ensured that they were the fastest improving schools in the whole of America. And she did so because she operated a single-minded, focused, determined philosophy. Children should come first. She recognized that many of the arrangements that we have in place which govern education are determined by adults for adults. Union rules, which allow adults to decide when they work so it's convenient for them. Decisions about curriculum and qualifications that allow adult politicians to say, over the years things have been getting better and better. Aren't I wonderful? And adult ways of arguing about politics in which one ideology clashes with another, but the genuine interests of children are forgotten. In a moment you'll hear from Michelle, both about the scale of the challenge that she took on, but also about the individual inspirational stories that sustained her in her work. The examples of those students who, as a result of Michelle's leadership, knew that schools were changing in order to ensure that they could have a better future. And Michelle's example acts both as an inspiration and also as a reproach to reformers in this country. Michelle was in charge of DC schools for a short period, but during that time she achieved amazing things. So in this country, when people say, take your time, don't rush your fences, reform has been proceeding at a rapid pace, isn't it about time that you paused to reflect? I look at what Michelle achieved, and I think about the children who were her first concern. And I believe our children don't have a second chance. They can't wait around in underperforming schools with underperforming teachers until a consensus has been reached by adult politicians that now is the right time to act. We've got to have that same sense of urgency and determination that any parent would have when they think of their own child. And the other way in which Michelle is an inspiration and a reproach is the sheer moral courage that she showed. It's often the case that those who reform are told, people aren't yet ready to move. Parents actually think this school might be worth keeping open for another year or two. They're very heavily invested in it. It's part of their community. Isn't it time, isn't it right for you to be a bit more cautious? But the thing that Michelle realized is that she had to call out those people who were urging her to be more conservative and less confrontational. Because it was only by establishing clear moral leadership on the vital importance of transforming the schools in Washington, D.C., that she was able to overcome the sheer power of vested interests that just hoped that this pesky lady would go away. Now Michelle is operating on a national level in the United States, leading a campaign which is helping to ensure that the case for reform is made in every American city. And the changes that she's wrought in Washington, D.C., we hope will be wrought across the whole of America. Ladies and gentlemen, an inspirational reformer and a person whom it's a pleasure to welcome to London, Michelle Rhee. Thank you.